Jason with the Raw Life Health Show, and we had a great interview on Monday with Brian Clement. I don't know if you got to see it or not, but the title of the video was "Is Brian Clement on an all raw vegan diet?" And some of you might first be asking, well, who's Brian Clement? Brian Clement is a good friend of mine, and he's the first person who's ever introduced me to the raw food diet and lifestyle. He's the director of the Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida, where thousands of people come through year after year to get healed from all their different conditions. And Brian's been so graceful with his time, and he's let me interview him over and over again over the years. He has excellent books, and I've just learned so much from him. Well, we had Brian as our featured guest this Monday for members of the Raw Life Health Show. You can see a brief part of that if you're a subscriber or maybe on YouTube, but I highly recommend you see the whole video. But I asked Brian specifically many different questions. First, I asked him about water, because we've been talking a lot about water here at the Raw Life Health Show, and we've been talking about Addity Clarity, this product that's out. And I didn't ask about the product, but I asked about water in general, and he shared that he has some startling new information about water, that he just found out, that he's been looking for this information for years, and he's writing a book on the topic, so we're going to look out for that. Another thing we spoke about was, we spoke about what's going on in the raw food community with things like raw chocolate and agave nectar and things like that, and Brian shared his opinion on those, and just for the record, he's not an advocate of either one of those. But the real shocker was, you know, Brian has been a really outspoken person for the vegan diet for a very long time. And he's really strongly suggests people be on a vegan diet. And he, you know, they do Hippocrates, they do supplements there at Hippocrates Health Institute. But remember, most of the people that are coming there are not healthy to begin with. They're dealing with some type of health challenge. But he does recommend people who aren't even dealing with a health challenge to do supplements as well. Well, when we were talking, I asked Brian about if he's on a vegan diet, and he kept saying yes, 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 yes. And you know, what is a vegan to everyone out there? Because that's one of the topics we've been talking about lately on the Raw Life Health Show, is what is truly a vegan? Well, you know, technically a vegan is somebody that doesn't eat any animal products or any animals or anything that comes from animals, and they don't wear anything that comes from animals. And I often like to joke around saying they don't even like to talk to people who do those things. But really, a vegan can be many different things. I mean, there's lacto-vegetarians, there's ovarian vegetarians, there's so many different titles that people have today. Well, the topic I wanted to talk about today was the discussion of not meat, not animal products per se, but honey. So I guess it is an animal product. I was just recently in Portugal, in the Azores Islands, and we passed a farm, and they had a lot of honeycombs where they were, or honey hives where they were making honey, or beehives. And I was just thinking about this. I mean, honey is, first nutritionally, it's an excellent food. It's wonderful for our bodies. But it is high in sugar, so we can't overdo it. But Brian said he ate honey, and I said, well, that wouldn't make you a vegan. And he admitted, technically, I guess it wouldn't make me a vegan, he said. And, you know, he said, it's wonderful if somebody could be all vegan. And I said, why? What's the problem? And he doesn't per se eat honey, but he takes bee pollen. So I asked him about pollen in general. And pollen is wonderful. It's a wonderful, healthy supplement for the body. And there's many different type of pollens. There's flower pollen, but then there's bee pollen. And of all the supplements over the years that I've been suggesting or taking personally, bee pollen is something that's been consistent with me, because I just know how many people I've interviewed have told me how great it was. And me personally, I know how I feel, especially being on a vegan diet, having bee pollen. It has vitamin B12 and some other essential minerals and nutrients that we might not be able to get on a regular basis from eating just a strictly vegan diet. Well, Brian said it's possible to get everything on a vegan diet without doing bee products, whether it's honey or bee pollen or even royal jelly or something like that, from flower pollen. But he said the cost of the flower pollen and the accessibility to get it is very unlikely that somebody will do that on a regular basis. That was his personal reason for taking bee pollen. Well, recently on one of the Raw Food Messages board, a good friend and a guest that's on the Raw Life Health Show often, John Kohler, who's been on a raw vegan diet pretty much for longer than anyone I know besides Dr. Fred Bishy, said he takes honey maybe once or twice a month, but he still considers himself a vegan. And forgive me if I'm reading this wrong, but that's what I read real quickly. And so the question arose is, are you a vegan if you do bee products? Are you a vegan? And I guess technically you wouldn't be one, but John brought up a great point. He said honey is an excellent sweetener compared to things that aren't healthy and are vegan, like agave nectar, which isn't healthy. So the question is, do you want to be a label, be a vegan, or do you want to be somebody who's healthy? And a raw vegan, or if you want to call yourself a raw vegan, and if you're taking bee products, not only do I not see a problem with that, but I think it's a wise thing to do. The best sweetener out there is dried fruit or fresh fruit right into your smoothie, or just fruit in general. That's what it is. That's nature's sweetener. But when we look at the syrups, honey would be far better than things like agave nectar or corn syrup, because these things are just, the body cannot just handle them without being really stressed out and creating real problems with the sugar index. Now, we can do too much honey, we can do too much of anything. But fruit, without a doubt, is the best sweetener out there. Honey would be much healthier than the agave nectar and so on. But if you really care about the vegan issue and so on, well, then maybe you'll have to avoid the honey and the bee pollen. But bee pollen now, from a nutritional standpoint, is absolutely one of the best supplements out there. And so I just want to let everyone to be careful. I know a lot of viewers are new to the eating raw food diet that are watching this. Some of you have been doing it a long time. If you've been doing it a long time without any bee products and you feel wonderful, you have no reason to change. And I'll tell the same person that's eating McDonald's the same thing. If you're eating McDonald's and you feel amazing out there, not that anyone who's eating McDonald's is watching this, but if you're eating McDonald's and you feel amazing, your blood work's okay and everything's good, well, you really don't have a motivation to change. It will catch up with you later on, but you don't have a motivation. But if you are struggling with your raw food diet, or you're just struggling with your health, consider adding bee pollen to your diet. We have a bee pollen on our website, rawlife.com. That's one I really like. And my baby absolutely is a wonderful testament to this. She goes to the refrigerator, opens it up. She's 2.5 years old, and she just chugs down some bee pollen. My wife likes to add them to smoothies. And me, I don't do it as much as I used to, but I like to every now and then get a tablespoon of bee pollen myself. And honey is something that is a great sweetener, as I said. So just be open to it. Now make sure if you're getting honey or even bee pollen that it's raw, even royal jelly. But honey, you know, it's tricky. You want to make sure you're getting it from a good source and it's raw. And as for bee pollen, you want to make sure it's fresh and it has some sort of crunch to it, that it's not too moist or too chewy. It should be refrigerated after you buy it, and even before you buy it, it should be refrigerated. We also have royal jelly, which is excellent, an excellent product. We have that on our website as well. So everybody, I mean, there's a lot of other raw food sites that sells things that aren't technically vegan, but they call themselves vegan sites. Let's just get away from the titles. I mean, I respect and really admire vegans out there, but you don't have to be a vegan to be healthy, and you don't have to eat animal products to be healthy, but you have to do what works best for you. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. Know if you have any comments or questions, post them below the video. What do you think? And I guess the question for the day is, do you consume honey or bee pollen? And how does that compare to other sweeteners? Not only with your personal health, but what you have done research-wise. So everybody, post those below the video, and thank you very much for checking us out. Friday, for viewers, for members on Friday, we have the Friday Q&A. So if you're a member of the Raw Life Health Show and you want me to answer all your questions, I do every Friday. So until then, everybody, thank you very much and have a great day and a great Raw Life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.